Live musical events play a vital role in community life across the world. I think we'd all agree on that. Yet their very liveness means they leave little trace on the historical record. So even when a sound recording has survived in some form, the sources available to us can be tantalisingly incomplete, confusingly inconsistent and contradictory of each other, and often scattered physically between different archives, including private collections where sometimes they can be inaccessible to study. So the project I'm leading, that I'm going to talk to you about, Intermuse, the Internet of Musical Events, is designed to bring together digitised forms of all the various sources that document a live musical event and live musical events through time. Not only bringing them together, but also linking them, enabling them to speak to each other, despite their apparently incompatible formats. So we're using machine learning, natural language processing, optical character recognition, or OCR, and other forms of artificial intelligence. Data will be harvested from these sources, which include concert programmes, some of which can be hand annotated by the people who attended the event to record a change of personnel or a change of piece. Memoirs and correspondence written by people who took part in the concerts, who attended the concerts, and are trying to set down in a letter, for example, what their impressions were of the event they attended. Posters, season brochures, marketing materials, all designed to be put out there to inform potential audiences and bring them through the doors. Tickets that people purchased can capture very important bits of information. People purchase them in order to be able to access the event, gain admittance to the event itself. Newspaper advertisements, of course, again designed to drum up an audience, and reviews, music critics and others writing, giving their impressions of what they heard, the events themselves. Administrative records from the concert organisations that put on these events and the organisational decision-making behind the scenes. Entries in biographical dictionaries about the people taking part and the composers of works that were performed on these occasions. And most importantly, the oral history that can be gathered by interviewing people who've been associated with these societies and organisations, often for many, many years, thinking back, reminiscing over time, but key events, key things that they remember, their impressions and what they understood and took from the events that they attended. All of these things brought together, these different rich collections of sources, can, with the development of new tools and techniques, be studied in order to reveal with unprecedented richness the sorts of things that may not have emerged for historians looking at this material with more traditional approaches, not using digitisation and not using what's possible, the power of digital, to really gain new insights. So, for example, large-scale change over time, patterns in repertoire, fashions in performance, popularity of particular particular performers, and that kind of thing. What is transformative about Intermuse is its deeply collaborative methodology. It's based on principles of co-design, working with the concert-giving societies themselves, the members, the performers, the society committees, and the audiences who've supported these events through time. Co-designing and creating questions which not only serve the scholarly community but also those involved in putting on these events and participating in the society's activities over time and from generation to generation. There are many things that we like about this. In particular, there is the democratic approach we're taking to digitisation, which is very transformative. And my colleague, Professor Alan Dix, will talk to you about that in the second video. And it's enabling research to be developed with and by members of the public in environments that are often relatively poorly equipped and under-resourced. Not only does this research and this project value live performances happening outside of capital cities and major conurbations, but it also informs or confirms the importance of amateur, local and community-focused events on which much regional cultural life depends. And this sort of methodology could be used for choirs, for brass bands, for concert-giving associations, as I've already discussed. Whatever the nature of the organisation, if it's giving concerts, if it's putting performances out there on stage, this type of approach, this methodology, this collaborative working enables those organisations to understand in more detail and in greater context the nature of their own traditions and their own histories. The project brings together a team of scholars from the digital humanities, musicology, performance history, computer science and human-computer interaction, librarianship, archival theory and practice, and the heritage and cultural industries to develop new community-engaged methods, tools and techniques, enabling deep collaboration by digital means among and between a wide variety of stakeholders, including citizen researchers, professional and amateur musicians, fans, aficionados and newcomers to live musical events. So these are the important things that I just want to get across to you. I think most importantly, bringing musical archives and organisations together into dialogue and in collaboration with their own communities and the scholarly community into Muse, this project will form a dynamic digital archive enabling new ways of working with data and capturing individual memories around key events as a means of helping cultural institutions to understand their own histories and reflect on their identities and traditions as they plan with confidence for the future at this very difficult time for organisations involved in the live performance of music. Thanks very much.